What was your very first memory of what caught your eye or drew you in about photography for yourself?
I love how photography captures it's a document of the truth, but then it's also artistic and gives lots of room for creative expression. But then it's also like this video that we're going to do, or the photograph I did of you, is a document of who you are today.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, it's kind of like this visual, like little treat. It's almost like, I'm trying to make it look pleasing to the eye, or at least interesting to the eye or the mind.
It's really
so I dress it up a little bit in my little ways without doing too much. I'm not retouching and making your blemishes, disappear or anything like that. But there's a way of lighting it, and there's a way of putting a backdrop behind you and things like that to make it look a little less
softening the edges.
Yeah, just making it easier to look at.
Easier on the eye.
Yeah, with something. So I love that combination of different things.
Sorry to interrupt, but one thing. What was your first memory of photography that drew you into it for yourself? You didn't hear me, I don't think. Your very first memory, like when you were, I don't know how old you were when you...
Well, I started out shooting concerts when I was like 15.
That's cool. What kind of concerts?
Yeah, so I would wait out for tickets for every single show that came through Chicago.
Oh, like that one movie, kind of? With the journalist and the...
Yeah, kind of like that. I saw that movie and it reminded me of me. What was it? I forget the name of it. But I would wait out for front row seats for every single show that came through Chicago, from the Stones to the smallest bands that would come through. And I went to probably thousands or easily hundreds of concerts between the ages of 15 and maybe 18 or 19.
Oh, that's...
And I would take photos of all these bands.
And you still have those photos, probably?
Yeah, I guess. I tend to like not look back. I just somebody asked me the other day, like, well, where are those photos? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going to dig them up.
Oh my gosh, that's
But yeah,
so
they were great. They were great. It was really a fun way
if you bust those
to
out,
spend my youth.
That'd be cool to see your career or your adventure in photography as an artist. That's cool to see your own work, like in the stage.
I think it's important as an artist or as a photographer to shoot things you love.
Right.
Back in high school, I was really into music, so shooting concerts made perfect sense for me back then. But now I'm older, and I'm more interested in psychology and how we deal with life and how we end up where we are. And so that led me to this project.
You just tell me when to go.
All right. I'm sorry. Your name is Danielle?
Yes, Danielle.
Danielle. Danielle, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in a little town north of LA, a little bit like Topanga Canyon.
Oh, Topanga.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
My family was the second family to homestead there. A lot of people who know me know that. They know my grandma, Rose Wiley, my uncles.
Topanga is a very, how would you describe it? It's a...
Well, today it's very different. I know that. Back in the day, it was known for, it's like where the hippies went after Haight-Ashbury, because over in San Francisco it was too expensive. Topanga was a lot cheaper, and it was by the beach, and it was warmer.
Right. So your childhood looked like what?
It was nice. My mom's a hippie. My grandma was a little bit more conservative, but we have a lot of the old remnants of like cowboy days in Topanga on our little ranch. And growing up was interesting because everybody I went to school with was either an artist of some sort, a dancer, poet, musicians, photographers, so on and so forth. So it's been fun to run around with a group of people who are very artistic in that sense.
You had siblings?
No siblings. My mom just had me. My parents divorced when I was 2 or 3. And then they, sorry, I drew a blank.
But how would you describe your childhood?
It was bitter. It was bittersweet, I would say, definitely. it was, my mom was an alcoholic and my grandparents were, they took care of me a lot of the time when my mom would go to work. And yeah, my mom would drink when she'd get home. And sometimes she'd get a little like violent or whatever and crazy. And my dad wasn't around. He bailed for similar reasons. And yeah, so I could say that it was a lot of my girlfriend's parents kind of always took care of me. And in different ways, like, I don't know, I was really close with my girlfriends growing up. And then, actually, I can't think. But my grandparents are very sweet and loving and warm. And so is my mom. My mom has a different side of her, and I don't give her credit for it probably enough. But they taught me probably a lot of the things that I know. I know how to sew. I know how to ride a bike, tie my shoe, read the dictionary, look up different words in the thesaurus, all kinds of different stuff because my grandparents. And yeah. And then when I was 13, I went to boarding school. And I wanted to get away because growing up, I was like a chubbier kid. And so I got made fun of a little bit. And I'm not going to I probably downplayed it a little bit, but it was difficult in elementary school to be that kid. And so I always thought that when I grew up, my life would be a little bit different than it is right now. But that's for later. But yeah, once I got out of the elementary school in Topanga, my Uncle George, who's my dad's brother, I stayed in contact a little bit throughout my childhood, mind you, with my dad. And he passed away when I was 14. But when I first went to go see if it would be a good fit to go to different schools, either in California or outside of the state, for boarding school, I went to, it's out in Arizona off the 17 highway. And that school was really cool. I got to ride horses and go on caravans and learn a lot of cool stuff. And that served me well. And then I got kicked out in 9th grade. And I was there for...
Kicked out for what?
2 years. I started smoking pot and I was bringing it onto campus. And this kid in my class who was a day student, and he would bring it back in these science tubes. I can't believe I said the school's name. I'm so tired. Anyways.
I'll take it down.
Yeah, they were huge and they're just giant buds. And so I would go and smoke, and my girlfriends, there's 5 of us. And they were all kids of the teachers who worked there. So, and I was the only one who didn't have any association with the school. So when I started smoking, their parents knew because they could smell it on them. But they'd watch out for me and they'd be like, Danielle, come on. And I started with cigarettes, Camel and filters, and then I brought in the pot afterwards. And then they all started smoking pot with me. And then it was, we were burnt. But it was fun. Once I got left there, I went to Nebraska. And during the period of time when I was out in Arizona at school, my mom was trying to find a place to move to. I'm doing this kind of ass backwards, but we needed to find a place to live. We couldn't stay on my grandmother's ranch anymore because the house that my mom had built, and it wasn't all the way done. You know how Topanga is, it's a little bit, all these little houses are built into the hillside versus the hillside being taken out and flattened. Yes. So my mom did just that, and I had a little loft, and it didn't have a permit, no. So the building inspectors were coming and checking on the property because my grandma's having some debacle with her brother who owns there's 10 acres. So I think 3 acres on the other side was his, and it's whatever. He was trying to make a big stink about it, and they showed up and they said, well, you have to pay us this or the house gets torn down. And then during that time as well, my dad was calling my mom out from Arizona, which is even weirder. and he wanted to come out, wanted her to come out because he wasn't doing so good. And like he was hanging out with a bunch of weirdo tweakers and like doing speed and like, if anybody knows that shit, it's like, back in the day it was hella fun. I'm sure 80s was cool, cocaine, then tweak or speed came out and everybody's like just going. Well, a lot of fucking problems came from that generation doing just that. They just never stopped. Forgot everything behind, left everything behind, including their kids. Anyways.
Do you think that the childhood that you had, a very alternative childhood because of...
I used to like pray and beg.
Led you to where you are today?
Yeah. No, absolutely not. Because I have been given so many opportunities to do well, and I'm not going to sit here and like bullshit anybody and like justify why I'm out running amok. Like, there's no reason other than part of it, I'm lazy, yeah, and two, I lack the discipline, and I could have that self-discipline. I choose not to, and it's really lame. Because I know better. So. But anyways, I always just wanted like a normal, thank you. Fuck. It's like so heavy. I don't know why. I just wanted to be normal. Like, it was really hard. Elementary school was really hard. And I learned to be really cool from it. I learned how to be really cool from it. I feel like it helped me. But
do you think the body shaming that you experienced as a child kind of
I still don't
created
work
this
out.
desire for you to be accepted and cool?
No.
No?
I think that having gone through that taught me to be more compassionate in others, and I can relate to people on the whole scale, all scales. I feel like there has been a few people I've met in my life and I love people. I love to talk to them. I love hearing their stories. I do the same thing you do, but without a camera. After school, I lived in Nebraska. At that point, my father had passed away. My Uncle George and I have like this very simple relationship. We can talk about a lot of things. He's a very quiet, well-mannered man, and he's a businessman. He's got a lot of stuff going on. And he's always trying to look out for me the best of his ability. And I probably have kind of put up some walls around it and didn't realize it then. But he's kind of been my mentor. So when I left school, he was not happy because he was paid for, he put money that was left for me on it, but still, wow. I was kind of upset, but I think I did it because my mom wanted me to come home, and I'm like a total like sucker for my mom. I love her to death, and she's taught me about loyalty, and loyalty is like a really big deal, and it's weird that people don't really appreciate those kinds of like values and morale these days. Yes, most of us, a lot of people do, but like sometimes not so much on like that kind of stuff.
Especially down here.
Yeah, no. The world is not a forgiving place.
So today you're living where?
I live in Chico today, but I moved up there after I had lived ran away in Salt Lake City, which is where like I went to after leaving Nebraska, because my mom and I got on probation out there. My mom and I left after I got off, and like we stopped there for second cousin's wedding, and I knew this chick, and we stayed like I don't know. My mom put me in school up there, so I started talking to some chick about running away, and like within 2 weeks of being out there, I ran away. 5 minutes down the street from my house, I was at. My mom had court that day too, because she had DUI. And I fucking took off. She was pissed. I was like, I'm gonna go be my own independent person. I'm gonna go be an adult because I'm 15, smoking swag weed and out in Salt Lake City. So strange. And I moved in with a heroin addict. And she was a really bad heroin addict. Her husband was a truck driver and he had a really nice house, like nice things, cool stuff, whatever. Spoiled her to death. She had her own house because she had all her own stuff and her own apartment, and we all were all partying there all the time. I don't think she really ever went home except for maybe once a week. And then we would get high, and I was dating a 24-year-old at the time because my girlfriend Gemma introduced me to Sam, and it's weird to look back and see what I've done and be like, any older dude try to be with some younger chick in front of me, I would pop him in his face. Like, no. And yeah, sorry to anybody who's like, down for that. Like, I'm just saying, it's not cool. No little girl needs to be in that position. But he was a lame. We would get high, we'd smoke hella dope, and then 3 months later, I called home and wanted to come home. Then I moved up to Paradise, California, and that's where I've been since I was 15. Well, now there's not much of a town left, but I'm up in Chico. I went back for my mom. I came up from San Diego, which is where I got sober at.
What are you doing on Skid Row today?
I'm gonna go try and hustle up some money. And then, I have drugs to sell, basically. So I'm just gonna go do it. Whatever. I need to get home north because I have an eviction coming up on Monday. And if I don't get there before Monday, all my stuff gets thrown away, it'll get thrown away.
So are you using currently?
Yeah. I'm not gonna use forever though. And everybody says that, and I hope everybody means it. I mean it though. I hope everybody means it when they say they're gonna quit, because everybody says it, but they don't mean it.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
What are you using?
It's kind of like a really good question. I like to smoke pot. I like to drink as of late, and I'll smoke crack with my boyfriend once in a while, and then I shoot heroin. And
Heroin?
Mm-hmm. And that's like I don't even know why. It just all began with that feel-good sensation, It's that feel-good. Everybody wants to chase it. It's amazing. I admire athletes because they go the extra mile and do it all naturally. And you can discipline is much more of a finer, a better and finer taste to do and have than it is to go and shoot heroin. Than it is to go and shoot heroin. It's better to be do what you're doing than shooting heroin, obviously. But it's a serious thing. So that's pretty much all I have to say, I guess.
How long have you been using?
Since I was 15.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Heroin?
No.
No, but heroin.
I only picked up heroin in the last, I don't even know why. I used to love cocaine, and then it went to speed.
The harder drugs you've been using for how long?
Since I was 15. I used to use with my mom.
Mm.
Yeah, that was she would not ever slam. My mom is old school. She hates this shit. She would kill me. Probably she watched this video and knew it was on the internet, but she hates it. She is not like junkies at all. So I just found it romantic. I kind of always knew, when I was little, I romanticize it. I don't know how and why I can say these things now, but it's true. Listening to I don't know, I guess it was Nirvana and stuff like that. But even before that, drugs in my brain were cool. Police, no. And I didn't really have a lot of gangster or outside or any, not gangster even, just city stuff. I was in Topanga, I was sheltered. So the influence was really not comparable to anything except for I put that in my own head, which is weird, I think.
But your family was doing, drugs are in your family, so.
Yeah. Huh?
The drugs are in your family.
I'm actually a black sheep of my family, like my mom. Like my uncle, a couple of my uncles were, did their thing, but never with drugs. And then back in the day, but now family's pretty successful, which is even stranger.
But you and your mom using it
Yeah.
at a young age.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That opens the doors for all kinds of other stuff.
Absolutely. And people say pot doesn't open the gateway. It does, because it teaches you how to socialize and under those circumstances. You learn how to navigate the whole little drug ring or whatever. Like, oh, I gotta talk this language, and today I gotta wear my hat backwards because they don't, I'm not a cop, obviously.
Do you have kids?
I do. I have a daughter, and I had her when I was 20, and I was doing really good. When I found out I was pregnant, I didn't use anymore. I wasn't using Jet Black at the time. My baby daddy was in prison, and then he got out when I was 7 months. He left when I was 0 months, or like 1 day or 1 week. I don't know. Yeah. And then when he got out, we tried to make it work, and it didn't work. He's got some mental stuff going on, and my mom was always in the middle of my relationships. And then, yeah. My daughter is 11 now, and she's doing really well. She lives with a family. The family talks to my grandparents and my uncle and my cousins and stuff. But my name hasn't really been mentioned, so I don't know. We'll wait.
Where do you see your life going now?
Hopefully somewhere like where the thoughts in my head and the ideas and the dreams and things I think about, because I know I think about cool shit. I hope that I'm able to produce that and stop talking about it and be about it, honestly. Because like, as much as it is cool to like go get high and stuff, because like I'm not gonna do it unless I'm enjoying it at this point. I just hope I'm able to fulfill some of the things I think. That's it. That's all I want.
The getting clean is tough.
No, staying clean.
Staying clean.
I was sober
That's
for
really what I
4.5 years, and then went out. So, we'll see. Hopefully, I am able to do some cool shit. I love art. I do a lot of art stuff. I paint. I write. I do anything. If you want to try something new, like I'll just figure it out, And I love fashion.
What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
The more somebody tries to tell you that you're not crazy, if your intuition says that you know that there's really something going on, and you can say for 100% that within yourself your judgment is usually almost right, then you should probably stick to what you felt the first time, because whatever it is, it's probably happening. So don't let people fuck with your head, dude. And be aware of it when it's happening. And if you like to play along, then that's, everybody else's business, but that shit ain't cool. If you don't really believe in something, don't go along with it, Or if something bad's happening, say something. That's a big thing. A lot of the world, wants to just be a people pleaser and say it's okay to, get along with things.
All right, Danielle, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me. Sorry I was a little crazy in the beginning.
No,
I got too stoned for that.
interesting.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.